Silverstone exceeded expectations, earning a place among classic BSR races and sim races as a whole, but Donington Park is surely no slouch. Elevation change, sweepers, S's, a hairpin, Donington's got it all, and these British sim racers are usually quite keen to put on some great racing. Hello and welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Donington Park. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with JP Costo alongside, and JP, Donington is a far cry from old British airfields, but it still feels like a classic British circuit because it is.
Absolutely, and I feel like today we're gonna watch even more classic British racing with these guys. Last season we had an absolutely blast around here, so I kind of expect more of the same, Andrew. The circuit is amazing, it looks absolutely great, and I'm pretty sure the drivers are eager to get back on track.
It's going to be a good day of racing. I always say that, but I really do mean it this time around. Donington is a whole lot of fun, and we're adding in that Grand Prix extra a little bit at the bottom. You can see there are the S's into that Melbourne hairpin. That's what dignifies it from the national course we ran last season in the first season of 2022. And oddly enough, if you remember correctly, JP, that race day, those races were actually way back in 2021. So we haven't been here at Donington since last year. Ain't that kind of fun? As you can see, some of the fast laps are on the left side of the screen. Qualifying already underway, so we'll make this kind of quick, keep things to the point. Standings. Here they are. Jason Cooper right back on top. JP feels like normal. It really does. Paul Donkin, Sam Smith, they're quite far apart as far as positions in between, but they're still only 14 points apart in that Pro-Am category. And if you look down to AM, the only AM driver making the top 20 currently is Craig Schill.
Really good performance by Craig. Obviously still no top 20. I guess we kind of mentioned that last season as well. So he's doing what he knows best, is just, getting good results. Obviously, as you mentioned, Sam Smith, 14 points ahead of Paul Donkin. Sam in 8th place, so a really good, first round for him, first 4 races. And obviously, as you mentioned, Cooper on top, 36 points ahead of Griffiths. Obviously, last time out with 4 races, Andrew only had 3 winners. I wonder if we're going to see another repeat winner here tonight, or we're going to see 4 completely different ones.
Here's a look at your schedule here for the spring on Trophy Tuesdays. Silverstone last week, Donington Park this evening, and next week we go to Knock Hill, and that's the final British course we have on this schedule all the way down through May 24th. It's Sonoma next, after Knock Hill, then Road America, Canadian Tire, Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, Daytona, and Sebring. And that is how the schedule shakes down. So really, you get that one British race in April, and then April and May are all in the United States. And I certainly have no problem with that, JP, but I'm wondering how some of these drivers might adjust. Now, of course, they've got experience on these other tracks. I doubt any of these tracks will be brand new to too many of these drivers, but I would still expect them to be a little less experienced at some of these tracks, like Sonoma, for example. That's not all that common outside of NASCAR leagues. Even maybe Road Atlanta might not be entirely, or really, I think Canadian Tire might not be entirely in some of these guys' wheelhouse. Road America, Watkins Glen, Daytona, Sebring, they should all be very familiar with those courses, but there still might be a few that sneak through that surprise a couple of guys. Maybe, change this racing up just a little bit. We'll see how that goes throughout the course of the season. I mentioned that qualifying is already underway. Let's go ahead and get down trackside. Jason Cooper, what do you know, right back on top of the series. That is no surprise. You can see a little over 5 minutes left to go here in qualifying, and car number 1, very quick.
Car number 1, and look at his teammates as well, Andrew. Fisher and Court just behind him, all of them within a 10th of a second, so really good qualifying by all 3 of these guys. And it's something we were used to last season, something we're just gonna be used to all season long. They have been dominant in qualifying. Their performances have been absolutely amazing. And the first non-5-star motorsport driver is, Adam Damlund in 4th place, but nearly 0.2 of a second behind Paul.
And this is down into Melbourne. He's really close to pole, actually. Only 0.17 seconds off, so 0.17 of a second behind. And that's really not that much. Just shy of 2/10. Nick Clibbins is another 10th and change on back. Andy McEwen is a little ways back as well. Although McEwen did just go up a few spots and just gets in front of Tom Griffiths currently for that 6th position in qualifying. Across the line comes Delmont. Does he go any faster? No, not quite. Your first Pro-Am driver on the Speedway, well, at least in timing, is Craig Cockrell, one of the new names, car 546, on that SimTech Excite team. You can see the Excite colors there alongside that car. So teammates then to guys like Adam Delmont, Nick Clibbins, and Tom Griffin. So teammates to all of those guys in that stable. It explains why he's quick.
Absolutely, and currently being on pole for the Pro-Am class, it's a really good qualifying for him, but barely over, not even half a tenth a second ahead of Nathan Davies, so this could very well change, and we still have 4 minutes and 20 left in qualifying. Nathan is finishing up his lap. It's going to be interesting to see if he improves. Sam Smith as well out on track. Looks like someone just went a little bit faster because Cockrell dropped all the way down to 10th right now, one position. That was Lee Holmes, if I'm not mistaken. So Lee,
that was Lee Holmes.
There you go, top 9. Really good qualifying for him. 4 tenths behind pole, but just 2/100ths of a tenth behind Michael Seal.
It's good to have you all here watching again today. I do see some of you guys out in the chat, and it's good to talk to you guys. Good to talk about you guys and see some racing that's this Tuesday. It's going to be an interesting 10 weeks. And we already got 1 week out of the way, so really 9 weeks to go. But that's a whole lot of racing, JP. A whole lot more racing than last season. And it's certainly going to drag on. I say a whole lot more racing. It's a whole lot more racing that it's 4 extra races. It's going to go on that extra week. And I wonder if any of these drivers might get tired by the end of the season. Only time will tell. Here's a look at the top AM driver currently, Duncan Cope, all the way down in 23rd. We saw a lot of AM drivers mix things up last season, and it seems like those AM drivers have been moved up to Pro-Am, which is really, really interesting. Well, it's not interesting that they got promoted, but it's interesting that none of these guys have kind of stepped into that role. They've not really moved up. Duncan Cope, the top amateur driver so far. You got to go down to Mark Oliver to find the next one. And really after that, it's just Craig Schill, Fiona Siddons, Alistair Hatcher. There aren't too many, although I suppose Ollie Ricks down there in 29th. He just needs his number set.
Yeah, so a few of these, as you mentioned, a few amateur drivers, not really, I guess, putting, that show. It's still a really good qualifying session for them, Andrew, but I expect most of these guys, to excel on race pace. By the end of race number 1, we might see a few of these guys up in the top 15, and obviously after the inverts, well, it's just going to be really interesting to see who sets in where, as Craig Schill looks like he was finishing up his lap. Fiona Siddons is approaching Melbourne, but unfortunately goes way too deep on the braking. That's going to cost a few tenths of a second. Alistair Hatcher looks like it's finishing his lap as well. He goes for a 147.0, and that's going to be good for 30th place for the time being, but still 2 minutes to go. Still at least 2 laps for Alistair to improve, so plenty of time.
So position number 30 there for Hatcher. He's got, let's see, Alistair's got about a second to make up to Ollie Ricks. But he's only 4 seconds off, well, 3.5 seconds off. It's still a pretty tight field, all things considered. And all the way down to, you got 26 cars within 2 seconds of each other. And when you add in that Melbourne hairpin, that's actually quite impressive to have so many cars so close. I think that speaks to the talent in this field. A few more drivers getting a few more laps in as we've got about 90 seconds to go. A big hop there up in the air for Lars Fischer. And it is good to see Casper DeCourt back in the field. It's really good to see car number 5 back. Missed last week at Silverstone. Hopefully doesn't miss too many more races from here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's as you mentioned, it's good to see him. Hopefully he's not going to miss, and hopefully he's going to put a good show. Already qualifying. Looks like he's pressuring a bit his teammate just ahead, and unfortunately it looks like that lap might be invalidated. McEwen as well, good to see him back as usual. I love this livery, Andrew. I don't know what it is about it, but I don't know, I just love it. Car number 4 currently in position number 6, 3.6 tenths of a second behind pole.
Michael's heel's looking pretty good as well, up into pro class, and I actually don't recall if he was pro class in the Miatas last season, but I think he might have been, actually. So just kind of retaining that pro class and getting back after things. He is in the top 10, which is certainly a good start. I think anytime you qualify in the top 10 in this series, you've usually got something pretty good for the day, and you're usually going to be able to contend at least at some point. So we'll see what the Time for Fun Motorsport, number 57, can do. Across the line, he's 4 tenths off. Got some draft, and he goes a little bit slower that lap, so he won't advance his position at all. Adam McNally is one of the pro drivers outside the top 10, along with James Neve. Both of them in the pit lane, and they are the only 2 pro drivers, it looks like, outside the top 10 currently. Ashley Stimpson, I believe, is not a pro, and we know that Ollie Ricks is not a pro driver. They just need their numbers set before next week. So qualifying will run down. We've got 2.5 minutes to go. If you started your lap, that means you can go ahead and finish it. If you've not started your lap, that means you might be out of luck.
This is the last chance for some of these guys to improve. Cooper doesn't really need to improve, but judging by how close his teammates are, he might just be feeling a little bit, well, and just as I say that, Andrew, both of them looks like take it to the escape road. Adam Delmon looks like he's not able to improve, so he's going to stick for 4th place for the time being. Nick Clibbins is still in the pit, so he's gonna stick with 5th place. Tom Griffiths still the 7th place. McEwen in 6th. Michael Seal, though, he can improve.
I actually missed 2 cars that are in pro, but not in the top 10. Ben Sharp and James Clark, positions 15 and 16. They're actually both in this little group, headed down. They're with Michael Seal, headed down to the S's now. Ben Sharp here in car 24. James Clark just behind in car 20. We'll see what they can do, if they can move up at all. James Clark is 72 hundredths of a second off. And let's see, Ben Sharp is just ahead about 65 one-hundredths of a second off of pole. So they're still very close, and they're 15th and 16th, and they're within a second of pole time. Ben Sharp, it looks like, has called his lap quits. We'll see what James Clark can do, though, around the final corner. Can he go any faster? Trying to beat a 1:44.078. I think he's going to go a bit quicker. That is a 1:43.906. It's an improvement, and he moves up to 13th. So ahead of Neve, ahead of Smith, and ahead of Sharp.
Yeah, good qualifying. Oh. Cooper improves as well by a big margin, by nearly 0.2 of a second, if not, over 0.2. So really good qualifying, and yep, I don't think we should be too surprised by that, Andrew, but yet again, we still are.
What that is going to do as well is kind of ruin that stat of, we had so many cars within 2 seconds. Now we've only got 22 cars within 2 seconds instead of 26. So Jason Cooper, if you could not do that next time, it sounds a whole lot better the other way. Craig Schill still on the track. Looks like he's coming up to Coppice now. I think he just rounded Coppice. Yes, I believe out of turn 8. We can go on board. Yes, that was out of turn 8, out of Coppice, and headed down to the S's. He will not finish this lap. We'll see what Mark Oliver can do. Mark is headed down to Melbourne now, and again, will not finish that lap. What about Alistair Hatcher? Alistair is just out of Coppice. So these guys will not finish their lap times.
Yeah, fortunately for these guys, Andrew, it's just a little bit extra practice. They're going to stick with their positions for the time being, and, well, it's going to be good for them getting this, a few extra seconds of practice, but now it's race time. This is where it all starts to matter.
Let's go ahead and get down to our grid for the first race of the day. Of course, we'll have inverts later on, so we'll have to dig out our spinning wheel and get that going in just a little bit. But for race number 1 on pole, you will find car number 1, as per usual, Jason Cooper. He's just so good in these little Mazda Miatas. Lars Fischer will start from 2nd. Starting 3rd, you'll find their teammate, Casper DeCourt. So it is a 5-star motorsport top 3 as usual. Adam Delmont rolls off from 4th. Starting 5th, it's Nick Clibbins, Andy McEwen alongside. Then it's Tom Griffiths in 7th, Michael Seal 8th, Lee Holmes 9th, and Craig Cockrell, your Pro-Am pole sitter, in 10th.
11th place goes the way of Nathan Davies. Adam McNally in 12th place on his number 78 machine. 13th place in row number 7 is going to start on the inside line with James Clark and James Neve alongside him for an all-out James 7th row. Row number 8 is going to be Sam Smith on the inside and Ben Sharp on the outside in 16th place. 17th place will go the ways of Liam Silkstone in the 594, in the 529 of Paul Donkin on his outside. And row number 10 on the inside, we're going to have Jamie Gulliford and Douglas Stewart.
Starting 21st is Thor Tullo in car 544. Julian Schroer there in 22nd. Starting 23rd, you'll find Duncan Cope. Then it's Craig Schill. Those are your amateur pole and outside pole. Starting 25th, you'll find Roger Morton. Then it's Mark Oliver, 26th. Starting 27th, it's Ashley Stimpson. Fiona Siddons rolls off 28th. And your back row of the field, out of 30, you find Ollie Ricks and Alistair Hatcher. And just proof there, only 30 cars. I say only 30 cars. That is a massive field for Donington Park, waiting on just one more car to grid up, and we'll be on our way. Let's check on weather for the first time today, JP, before we get this race rolling. 65 degrees in the air, 67 degrees in the racetrack. You can extrapolate from there as we are in the virtual Castle, Donington, England. Wind out of the southwest at 7 miles an hour, and red lights are on the grid. That means green lights are on the way, and we are so close to green flag. Green flag is out for the first race of the day.
Sorry, mate.
Headed down the Craner curves for the first time. Jason Cooper, Lars Fischer, Casper DeCourt. That's your top 3.
You can see everybody still going side by side on the first few laps. This is the opportunity to make a few positions, as we already saw a few drivers door banging on the exit of turn number 4. You can see it. The top group looks like the top 5, top 6 kind of breaking away. And look at this train, Andrew. Everybody really close together. This looks amazing.
Headed to Coppins for the first time, right on that curbing on the left side. Jason Cooper, that was a great shot. We got some trouble. James Neve in trouble, in fact, in car 4. Look at that mess out of turn 7. James Neve is around. Mark Oliver, Ben Sharp, they've got problems. Ben Sharp is already towed back to the pit lane. Everybody else continues on.
Coming out to the hairpin DSS.
A slowdown for Andy McEwen.
Oh, that's going to hurt him. He's going to be losing a lot of positions, actually, and losing a little bit of momentum, but he rejoins on the racetrack. Oh, just behind him, almost an instant. But it looks like the number 4 starting off the race not in the best of ways. You can see just behind him a few extra drivers battling towards Melbourne, turn 11.
Wrap up lap number 1, the final corner of the course. Jason Cooper, Lars Fischer, Casper DeCourt, Adam Delmont, Nick Clibbins, Tom Griffiths, Lee Holmes, your order. That's your top 7, followed by Michael Steele, Nathan Davies now in Pro-Am lead, and Craig Cockrell in the 10th spot. Lap 1 complete.
This is the first lap of many tonight, and well, unfortunately a few drivers had issues, but so far, Andrew, the top 5 at least looks like it remains unchanged at all. So 3 5-star motorsport drivers, then Adam Delmont chasing them down. It looks like the battle for third might erupt a little bit sooner, as it looks like Delmont is very, very close to the back end of Casper DeCourt as they head down into turn 4. And look at the exit that the number 77 got. He's going to look down the outside of turn 5, which is going to switch to the inside of turn 7. Turn 6 right here, still on the outside, but look at this run. He's going to stick it down the inside. Can Casper hold it around the outside? Looks like not close enough. And yeah, the number 77 gets the position.
So a good spot there for Adam Delmont. Some other battles further back. Andy McEwen is now around. Big problems for car 4.
Oh, and he's destroyed as well. So big problems.
Going again.
Yeah, no, that car's not going anywhere. He needs to tow. The front suspension is gone, and there we go. So Andy McEwen, after starting the top 10, he's not going to be finishing up race number 1. So big issues after that slowdown on the back straightaway. Now he finds himself without a suspension, and I wonder, Andrew, if it happened down into turn 7. Looks like he might just have been.
Racing with Adam McNally in car 78. Contact there, side by side, and they went around. One more look at that. Oh, and there's the big issue. Is that Gulliford that came through and got him? I believe it was. Let's watch this one more time. So the white Excite number 78 with the green year 1-4 on the inside, and Adam just kind of turns in, hits him there. Andy goes around, and oh my goodness, I think that was, I do believe that was Gulliford. Yes, that was Jamie Gulliford that came through and got him. Which actually, that's his allied teammate. It runs on that same team in TCR competition, so that's technically his teammate that just got him. And a problem for Adam Delmont and Casper DeCourt. Casper is in the wall, trying to get back rolling. I don't think he's going to be able to. I think this is in Redgate, turn 1. I could be mistaken about that one. No, maybe not. This is somewhere in the Craner. That's somewhere in the Craner curves.
I think it's down to turn 4. Yeah, he's approaching turn 4 right here. So, yeah, turn 3 Craner curves. That's where the contact happened, and there wasn't a lot of damage to Casper car, but we're just gonna have to see what happened to Delmont. You can see Casper goes down the inside of turn number 1. They're gonna go side by side through turns 2 and 3, and I wonder, Andrew, this is where the contact has to happen.
Oh, the trees.
Oh, looks like Casper got a little bit lost on the curbing, and he overcorrected into Adam's car. At least that's what I could have gone from the heads-up shot.
See if there's another blimp that'll work here for us. I don't think so, so we'll go with this view. Headed down the hill. This will actually show us quite nicely. Oh, I think Adam might have come over. It's really tough to say. I think Casper started his turn back to the left. You've got to go left there. That's how the track goes. I think Adam might have come over a little extra to try and get his own arc. Unfortunately, they meet in the middle. Adam Delmont gets away relatively okay. He's now in 15th. Casper DeCourt, however, is in 24th. They've both got damage out of it as Nathan Davies goes to the top of the board But, boy, that could have been a whole lot worse. It was still pretty bad and certainly awful for Casper, but it could have been worse.
Absolutely. Could have ended like McEwen's, unfortunately, but luckily for him, he's still in the race. He's still racing. He still has over 9 minutes to make up a few extra positions. As you mentioned, Delmont in 15th place. Casper, he currently finds himself in 24th. And look at this battle we have for 5th place, as we have Nick Clibbins chasing down Michael Seal. Will Nick look down the inside of turn number 7? He's kind of looking for it, but decides not to go through with it. So a really good battle right here, Andrew, for 5th place.
Pretty sure he gave him a little shot there into turn 7. A little bump. As they come over Coppice, a blink there for Lee Holmes. And the field is actually tamed out a little bit. McNally and Clark, though, are battling. They're out of Coppice now. Ollie Ricks and James Nee swapping spots as well. Ollie Ricks goes on by car 7.
So there you go. These two battling. It looks like they're going to have even more battling down the S's, but it looks like that settles down pretty quickly. Oh, the number 78 really cuts that chicane engine. That could be a slowdown penalty. Yeah, it is. So unfortunately for him, for making that move, he's going to have to yield that position. So quite unfortunate for McNally to yield that position, now back down to 10th place, but, well, he still has plenty of time to catch back up to Clark ahead as Delmont goes down the inside into Melbourne. A really good move from him, just passing Duncan Cope, our amateur leader.
Alistair Hatcher and Liam Silkstone battling further back. How about Liam Silkstone back in the field? And oh, he's going to loop it! You're kidding me! I don't think he's going to want to talk to me later, JP.
I'll get that interview for you.
Well, it is good to see Liam back in the field. Not so good to see him backwards there in the Melbourne hairpin, but you'll have that sometimes as Casper DeCourt goes side by side to Fiona Siddons. What this is going to do is mix up the midfield. Unfortunately, Jason Cooper is still going to run away with this race unless Lars Fisher can say something about it, but this is going to mix up the midfield quite a bit, which is going to be good for points and the invert here in a little while, JP. I wonder if maybe that'll be the theme of the day. I certainly would not be opposed as you see James Clark and Adam McNally doing some battle here. With Sam Smith just behind. Sam Smith, new to the Excite team, but he is fitting in quite nicely. Look at this move. To the inside of Clark, a little bit of contact. But he is following teammate Adam McNally almost to a T, and now Clark back on the offensive for Coppice.
Yeah, Clark trying to get the position. Then those two ahead, they're going to be compromising. Look at this exit right here. This could be the move down into the back straightaway. Sam Smith getting that slipstream, getting a little bit extra speed. He's going to go side by side with Clark, and he should have this position coming into the S's, breaking down the inside. Clark yields that position. Sam nails it. I don't think so. Looks like it isn't, but Clark got a really good exit. I almost touched. That could have ended in tears, but Clark is going to look down the inside. Is he? Not quite. Sam Smith keeps that position into Melbourne, and that was an excellent battle.
That wasn't almost a touch. That was a touch as they come around the bend. They definitely made a little bit of contact and just hung on to it, so good heads-up stuff from them there. Ollie Ricks and Fiona Siddons doing battle, and Fiona Siddons gets on by Ollie Ricks, who's got some damage there. A couple of teammates. Paul Donkin gets passed up now by Liam Silkstone, who again had that spin recently. And Nathan Davies and, Nick Clibbins do some battle contact there. Forces Nathan Davies off in the dirt, and he will not take too kindly to that one.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'll be too happy about it. He might have something to do with it on the next few corners, maybe in the next few laps. So we're just going to have to wait and see what the 522 does. He was, he was as high as a 7, and look at this run. He might, is this fair play? I'm looking at it. It might be. I don't think it's a slowdown.
Nick gave it back, it looks like. I doubt that would have been a slow. I think Nick realized there was contact there, gave it back, wants to get it back the right way. So that contact in red gate is certainly sitting on both of these drivers' minds as Nathan is up into the 6th spot. Well, this is a good way to get things started for the day. Good way to get the blood pumping. A whole lot of great battles around the racetrack. In fact, Lee Holmes and Tom Griffiths are relatively close. This could be a top 3 battle before the end of the race. And I say could. They are still quite a far apart, but it could be as Lee Holmes blinks again there through the S's.
Looks like Lee suffering a little bit of connection. That's not his first nor second blink so far. And he looks down, he goes really deep on the braking. He catches up a little bit to Tom, but unfortunately is going to lose. Looks like Clark is still trying to get the position back from Sam Smith, but looks like he's not going to be close enough this time by down into turn 11. The number 20 still trying to get back into the top 10 as we have even further battles around here. that is the number 544 of Thortulo. Looks like he's going to lose up maybe 2 positions on the exit. I thought that was going to be contact for a minute, Andrew, but looks like they all got it sorted out, and Thor comes out ahead.
Oh, and contact behind with Duncan Cope and Julian Schroer. Schroer forced out wide. Cope takes the spot away. Will that stand? Will Cope hang on to that? Yes, he will. So amateur leader Duncan Cope getting a little bit rough there with car 578, shouldering his way on by.
Yeah, really good, really interesting way, but obviously he's gonna get the position. He will want to drive away right now. It looks like that's exactly what he's doing. So yeah, Duncan right now only needs to chase down the driver ahead of him, make sure he can get close and maybe pass Thortulo in the next upcoming laps. But if I'm not mistaken, Andrew, Duncan might be leading the amateur class. Yes, he is. So that was that wasn't a move for position, but yeah, he's leading the class. So he needs to be careful if he wants that win, because any sort of contact on that last few minutes, well, you're not going to have enough time to fight back through the field.
Well, his next competition is Fiona Siddons in 21st overall, and that's an 11-second gap currently, as Lee Holmes has gotten to Tom Griffiths much sooner than I thought he would have. And that's a big pass already. That was well before the S's. Lee Holmes takes that 3rd spot away. Oh, but it's not over.
Yeah, definitely not over. Tom will definitely want to fight that back. You can see him trying to line up a move on the exit of turn 11. Is he going to be close enough? Does he get a good enough exit? He's really close, but looks like the exit was matched by the driver ahead of him. So Lee Holmes still leading, still in 3rd place. Leading this battle, you can see Tom getting a wider line to trying to cut back in. Lee Holmes once again blinks a little bit. Now, did Tom get a better exit? Looks like he did, Andrew. Could we see a move down into turn 1?
No move into red gate from Tom Griffiths just yet. If anything, I would expect a move into turn 4, the old hairpin. Even that might be a little aggressive. I think, Tom Griffith's one of those guys that'll sit back and kind of evaluate the situation to make the right move, usually. Say make the right move, usually. I think, yeah, well, see, there again, he could have forced up the inside, but you still got 2 minutes of racing. That's going to be about 2 laps. Yeah, that will be 2 laps, in fact. So you've still got one more opportunity around each of these corners. You don't need to force anything just yet. You can take a second, think about this, plan the move out, set him up properly.
Yeah, absolutely, because at the moment you go for a move, you really want that move to be, done and dusted. You don't want to allow the driver ahead to essentially fight back, have an opportunity to fight back and even make, risk a contact or something, or even make sure you lose that position. So Tom really needs to line this move up perfectly and get it done with. So looking down the inside of the S's, that might not be the place you're looking for to make a move, and it isn't. So Tom's still holding back, trying to get a good enough exit. It looks like Lee was a big compromise, but saying that, he kind of spaces himself. So Lee's doing a fantastic job defending 3rd place.
Just up ahead, Jason Cooper is into the final corner right about now. See, I'm used to Jason having a much larger lead, and I thought he would have been much further up the road, but he is just now out of the final corner. This will be white flag for car number 1. The white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams is out here at Donington Park. With 1 minute to go, you can see the field come on by our speed shot on the front stretch. Lee Holmes, Tom Griffiths, are they going to do some battle down to red gate? No, not just yet. Where does Griffiths make this move?
He really needs to make it up soon. He really needs to focus on his exits because the opportunities are running low. Maybe down into turn 4 just after this sequence of corners. He's too far away. I don't think it will happen down here. But he can just apply.
He's got to run.
Oh, he's going to look down the inside. Ooh. Not close enough, but he's looking, Andrew. That's applying a little bit more pressure into Lee Holmes. He's making sure that Lee's looking in his mirrors, and maybe they'll force the number 35 into a mistake.
We'll quickly take a look further back. James Neve, Casper DeCourt doing great battle now through Redgate. Roger Morton is just up the road. Douglas Stewart just behind. These guys just swapped spots. So Casper DeCourt back into 18th position now, working his way through this field as best as he can. Final lap through Compass. You can see cars 35 and 76 rather doing some battle here. Lee Holmes, Tom Griffiths still nose to tail. White flag now officially out. Presented by Whiplash Simcams, and here we go. Maybe the move from Tom Griffiths is look to the outside for the S's. He looks, thinks about it, holds himself back. He's going to get a good run, though.
Yeah, look at the exit. He's going to be side by side already, so this is going to come down to turn 11. You can see Lee has a little bit of an advantage, but coming down here, This should be all Tom Griffith's leads, trying to hold it around the outside. He might just be able to, but on the exit, he gets a little bit squirrely, and that's going to cost him.
He can still get it in this final corner. Does he use the bumper at all? We've seen it in NASCAR races. Oh, he thought about it. He certainly lunged. Is he going to get a good exit and try and race him back to the start-finish line? Checkers are out. Jason Cooper wins race number 1. The battle for third goes the way of Lee Holmes. Wow.
Really good battle. Lars Fisher is going to finish in second place. Lee and Tom are going to finish on that order. Michael Seal in 5th. Nathan Davis is going to win the Pro-Am class in 6th. Clibb is in 7th. Cockrell in 8th. McNally and Sim Smith rounds off our top 10. And Andrew, that was a good first race. I'm ready for 3 more as we have even more cars crossing the start-finish line.
Just like Neil said out in the chat, Tom wasn't going to make a move without planning that one. He wouldn't have made a half-hearted move for that win, or well, not even that win, that third place finish there. And that was good. That was good hard racing. I really enjoyed that. And Tom was so close to having it and just maybe had a little too much wheel in it. I think he could have took some wheel out of it and just kind of straightened that exit out a little bit and might not have had that same loose condition. But, man, that was really good stuff. And already the field comes across. The field was very close that time. How about that? I think this field is getting a whole lot better as a whole. Let's get ready then, JP. Are you ready for the first invert of the day?
Oh, you betcha. I'm expecting a full one, not gonna lie. Is it gonna happen? I don't know, but it would certainly be interesting.
We've changed the numbers up a little bit. We like keeping things fun. You can see a 10, a 20 on there, a 24 that we might be headed towards, but no. It seems like 17 is popular these days. And if you recall, there was that battle on that last lap with Roger Morton, Douglas Stewart, Casper DeCourt, and James Neve. Well, it was James Neve who comes out on top of that, and that was 17th through 20th. James Neve is going to take 17th and is going to earn himself pole for the next race. That is how crucial those midfield battles are sometimes. James Neve comes on through and will now have the pole for race 2. That's why it's important.
Absolutely. So he's definitely going to be thanking, his race. Obviously, now the unofficial results, as we mentioned, Jason Cooper wins the first race. Lars Fisher is going to finish in 2nd. Lee Holmes is going to hold off Tom Griffiths for 4th. Michael Seal in 5th. Nathan Davis is going to win the Pro-Am class. Nick Clibbins in 7th. The Pro-Am class. And Craig Cockrell in 8th place ahead of Adam McNally and Sam Smith in 10th place.
Finishing 11th is James Clark in car 20. It's Adam Delmont there in 12th. Thor Tullo finishes 13th. Duncan Cope wins in amateur, just ahead of Julian Schroer, a Pro-Am. Then it's Ashley Stimson 16th. We'll get a whole lot more used to car 08 then, I guess, in this next little run. James Neve will finish 17th and take pole for race number 2. So Neve on pole, Stimson 2nd, then it's Schroer 3rd, Cope 4th, Tolo in 5th, Delmont 6th, and Clark 7th. That'll be your starting order for race 2. Roger Morton, Douglas Stewart, Casper DeCourt, oh so close.
21st place to go the ways of Liam Silkstone. Fiona Sid in 22nd. Alistair Hatcher in 23rd, and he's going to be the last driver to finish on the lead lap. Paul Dawkin in 24th is going to finish 1 lap down. Ollie Ricks 25th. Andrew McHugh in 26th. Craig Schill in 27th. Jamie Gulliford in 28th. Mark Oliver in 29th, and Ben Sharp in 30th place.
With race 1 out of the way, let's go ahead and first, let's recap the track map, JP. We kind of rushed through this earlier on. I think my favorite corner here, well, it might be 2. I really enjoy Coppice, but I also really enjoy this Melbourne hairpin. I also really enjoy Redgate. I really like that side of the course. I like this course as a whole, actually. Donington Park was always under the radar for me. I didn't really know about it until the Pacific GT3 Challenge came here way back in late 2020, and now we've had a few extra broadcasts around this joint, and of course, now we've got BSR coming here each season, it seems, and I certainly like that. I really enjoy racing here at Donington Park. I really enjoy covering racing here at Donington Park. I know a few drivers in this series, of course, are very local to Donington Park. This is a good racetrack. I really, really enjoy what it has to offer. Elevation change, sweepers, a couple of tighter, more technical corners. I think McLean's and the old hairpin are pretty similar in that way. They're almost 90-degree right-handers. Obviously, they have different approaches, and that's what makes them a lot more interesting, and different elevations and all of that. Coppice is a lot of fun with that approach, right up the hill, and then a really tight first bend, and then it opens out onto the Starkey Straight. It's all just a lot of fun. It flows really nicely. There's a lot of curbs that you can use. You can get a little bit of the grass without really tearing anything up. It's just a good course.
Absolutely. I love this race course as well. It just, as you mentioned, flows so well. My favorite corner has to be turns 3 and 4. I just love, the dip into turn 4. You can carry so much speed. It's just so much fun. But the rest of the course as well is just as challenging and is just as fun. Well, I mean, there's not too much to say, Andrew, apart from it's a fantastic course and I love racing on it.
In case for some reason you only want to watch race number 1 this afternoon and that's it, you want to go ahead and tune out for a little bit, well, we can't make you stay here, although we do want to make you aware of some upcoming broadcasts here on the channel. Of course, this evening, we've got North American Racing League action with the Porsche Cup cars at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's going to be a lot of fun on the Roval, and kind of a preview of what we might see with the GT3 cars as well. Then we've got the Outlaws Sim Series at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on, well, tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That is the next-gen cars, the NASCAR next-gen car, the Gen 7 with the new 18-inch rims and everything else. Yeah, that'll be... I think that'll be really cool to watch and get an idea of how those cars will actually race at Indianapolis. Now, Indianapolis now serves as a road course for NASCAR, but I still think it'll be a lot of fun to see exactly how those cars race on a big draft track like Indy. And of course, Thursday afternoon for us, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern now that we are in British summertime. It's BSR TC right back here with the TC cars and, well, the touring cars, and I really enjoyed that round last season. There was a lot of drama, a lot of great battles, and it should be a whole lot more of the same this season. And of course, Thursday night we have North American Racing League GT3 action from Long Beach. So a lot of great things coming up this week, a lot of great reasons to tune into Pit Stop TV and see what we've got going on throughout the course of this week. That will do it for race number 1 coverage. We will be right back in just a few moments with race number 2. Welcome back to the virtual Donington Park. Race 1 out of the way, race 2 is on the way. Jason Cooper's already fastest in warm-up, no surprise there. Andy McEwen, though, looking good in this quick little practice session. Drivers are working on their times. They're certainly trying to pick up where they left off and pick up some extra from there. Weather is going to be an interesting topic of the day, as per usual, JB. Let's go ahead and get back into the sim and check out the weather conditions for race number 2. It has cooled down a little bit. You can see some cloud cover over the track, and it's starting to get later in the day. You can see that yellowish tint there on the horizon.
Yeah, you can see the track is covered in a bit of clouds, I guess, so that's going to help a few drivers if they do like, I guess less visibility at all, Andrew, and if they like a cooler track. You can see a few drivers coming down into turn 4, and obviously, it's usual in BSR. We see the progression throughout the day, and throughout, race number 3 and 4, we should expect this track to get maybe a little bit cooler, but definitely darker.
As we've heard from drivers before, this kind of shade over the racetrack tends to mess with braking points, and I'm sure throttle points as well, just key points around the racetrack, references around the racetrack. So we make everything a little bit more monotone in color. So I guess monochromatic. It tends to mess with your brain a little bit, makes it a little harder to find those points. But hey, look at that. Session changes. Clouds are out of the way. We get a little more sun overhead. Let's actually take a look from the scenic blimp if we can. And wow, yeah, clouds just went away. So that's already, that talking point is already potentially out of the way, and maybe a moot point as James Deave gets ready to start this race from pole. Ashley Stimpson second. It's Jillian Schroer third, Duncan Cope fourth, and Thor Tiller your top 5 as we get ready for race number 2. Excuse me. If you are new to BSR and you are new to how this works, we have 4 races each day, 15 minutes apiece, 3 inverts in between these races. We qualify for the first one, as you saw earlier on. Then it's inverts between races 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and 3 and 4 to set the orders for each of those remaining races. It looks like we're just waiting on one more driver to grid potentially, and we will be on our way for race number 2. As I said, 15 minutes as per usual. All 30 cars remaining in the field, and there we go. Red lights on, waiting for green here at Donington Park for race number 2 for the British Sim Racers spring season in 2022, and green flag is out. Headed down the Craner curves for the first time. Already Andy McEwen down to 25th spot.
Few drivers you can see now coming once again down into turn number 4. One of the trickiest yet most amazing corners of the circuit. You can see 3-star motorsport, 5-star motorsport actually, Andrew. The 3 drivers are still close together even after the invert. As you can see, the rest of the field coming up the hill heading into turn 7. The leader has quite a bit of a healthy gap, but you can see the pack is really chasing him down.
A good look there at the entire field as they work through McLean's. Now up to Coppice, turn 8. Great view as everybody went on by. Craig Cockrell a bit out of line. Sam Smith loses spots. Adam McNally. A whole field of 30 cars, and they are still running out of Coppice down this Starkey straight into the S's, into this little chicane.
You see now this could be a tricky spot. We could see a little bit of contact between a few drivers. You can see a couple of drivers going side by side, and you can see a few drivers maybe cutting that corner to be a little bit safe. A few drivers even a battle for second coming down into Melbourne, but looks like, Andrew, the rest of the field makes it through cleanly. A few drivers going side by side around here, a bit of contact maybe, but all of them, at least on the top 10, looks like they made it through.
I was very close with Thoratolo, Ashley Simpson, Adam Delma, and a few others. They work now up to Goddard's for the first time in this second race. Delmont and Stimson side by side. Stimson, it looks like one of the Excite drivers, so teammates then with the rest of these guys. A couple of cars sideways at a Goddard's, and lap 1 is complete.
Just like that, lap number 1 is complete. You can see almost 3 wide action back here, and well, look at that. That's the 527 really going deep on the braking. Sam Smith taking the lead. No, the second place for the Pro-Am class. A really bold move, and he's gonna stick that, Andrew. So a really good position for him. Tortullo looks like he was battling with Clark just behind for 7th place, and it looks like they're gonna stay in that position, at least for the time being.
Good battles through and through. There's an overhead look at corner number 4. Duncan Cope, Sam Smith side by side just behind Stimson. You've got Tortullo just behind. Nathan Davies joining this fight. A lot of Pro-Ams and amateur drivers in this top 10, and 3 wide into McLean's just behind James Clark. That's and look at Nathan Davies now 3 wide just ahead to the inside of Tortullo. Is that going to work on a compass? Oh, it just barely works.
Oh, they were also cautious, and all of them make it through. Now it's going to be a few drivers that are going to be compromised. I'm pretty sure Nathan Davies might fall under pressure from James Clark. You can see even more 3 wide action, Andrew. This is turning into NASCAR now. I'm absolutely loving it as long as they make it clean. Yeah, James Clark took it really easy. He's going to be conceding a few positions on the rejoin on the second part of the chicane. Looks like he makes a little bit of contact. One driver taking a really slow down penalty. And wow, look at this, even more action. Wow, down Melbourne.
Michael Steele up the inside of Tom Griffiths, takes that spot away. What an overhead shot here from the blimp. Steele trying to hang on to that spot. Griffiths now back up the inside of Goddard's, and he's going to get that spot away from Steele. It looks like maybe not one car sideways up ahead, but saves it. Oh, teammates maybe crashing behind. Who was that? That was Casper DeCourt, I think. No, Lars Fischer, car 96, and he's just been hit. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, a few extra close encounters. Lars Fischer car is destroyed. He's going to be forced to tow back. What an unfortunate end to his race. The car looks intact, but you can see the left rear suspension is absolutely collapsed. And this contact, Andrew, happened just on the exit of the final corner. So, really unfortunate for him.
Let's get a look back at it here. Watch that chrome and orange blue. He's just behind Jason Cooper. And that is 546. That is Cockrell to the inside, and Lars just gets loose. Hits Cockrell, hits McEwen, comes back across the racetrack. Who hits him here? Oh, that was Mark Oliver, car 999. And then there was more contact. Somebody else hit Mark.
No, I don't think. Yeah, but either way, what really unlucky, and that was a mistake by himself as well. Lars just went a little bit too wide and clipped the grass, so a self-inflicted wound unfortunately caused a little bit of damage to a few other drivers, but lucky for those drivers, they can still continue with a little bit of damage. Lars, unfortunately, looks like his race is over. The race who are not over, Andrew, is this battle. Look at this. This looks like it's a battle for 5th place, if I'm not mistaken. That's Duncan Cope leading this battle. Nathan Davies trying to look down the inside, if I'm correct. And yeah, McNally just on his outside for 7th place, 6th place. And well, looks like Nathan Davies from defending might just challenge Duncan Cope for that position. And we're going 3 wide once again.
McNally up the inside. Big send there. Gets both of those spots. 2 for 1 special at Goddard's. What a move there from McNally. 3 wide now again, maybe a Pro-Am, and an Am doing great battle here in the midfield. Well, middle of the top 10, really. McNally's got the spot right here. Comes Davies back to the inside in Redgate. Clark and who was that? Tullo make contact into Redgate as well. Look at everybody else file out of turn 1. Headed down the Craner curves one more time. Tullo on his back foot, losing a lot of spots.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to be losing quite a few drops outside of the top 10, currently in 11th place. But really good battling throughout this field. I'm absolutely loving it. And you can see the number 544 losing another position. Goes really wide. That was Cooper just passing him. So Cooper not wasting any time, Andrew. Even taking a little bit of the grass on the exit. As you can see, cutting back ahead. This looks like it's Duncan Cope losing another position to Michael Seal on his inside. You can see James Clark just ahead of him. Wow, this is getting crazy. You can see even more cars going a little bit wide. But this battle, Andrew, this is also close. This is also amazing.
James Clark leading this little battle in 7th. Michael Steele in 8th. Duncan Cope 9th, center of your screen. And just behind him, to the left of him, is Tom Griffiths in car 76. Through the S's now, and look at that little battle up ahead. McNally on Davies. This is not over.
definitely not over. You can see coming down into Melbourne. They're going to go side by side. McNally's going to have the inside line. Davies looks like he's going for an over and under. Could he get a good enough exit? The number 78 gets a really good exit. It looks like that might not be close enough for Davies to look down the inside into the final corner. So he's just going to have to wait to turn number 1. You can see back here, not a lot of drivers making move. Just as I say that, looks like Tom Griffiths goes down the inside. And look at this. This is also close between everybody. Cooper is trying to find his way into the top 10 once again, and Casper DeCourt is following him quite closely.
A big gaggle of cars here headed to Redgate. Thortilla getting passed up. Ben Sharp to the inside in position 13 now. We have not seen much of Ben recently, but it's good to see him back and being aggressive as per usual. Getting that spot away in Redgate. Moves ahead of the 544 of Thortillo. Now Lee Holmes will have a chance to battle with him, but he's got Excite driver Nick Clibbins right on his tail as they head down to the old hairpin. And Andy McEwen is way back here in the 17th spot.
Yeah, McEwen trying to make up a few inroads with this field being this close, Andrew. It definitely opens the door for a lot of opportunities. You can see he kind of looks down the inside of turn 7. Will we see a move? No, he's a bit cautious. He knows there's still 7 minutes of racing and there's still plenty of laps to make moves. So the number 4 really biding his own time, sticking in on the racing line, trying to get good enough exits. And this is the opportunity he might have been waiting for.
Oh, one car off, and that's Ben Sharp out in the dirt. I was just praising his race so far. Back to 19th now, loses a lot of spots and all of that. As these guys will work back down to the chicane for the S's. It was Lee Holmes getting a spot just ahead of Nick Clibbins. Andy McEwen will go on by car 13. There go a couple of more, trying to get a couple of spots. Cockrell and Gulliford as well. Great battles here at Donington Park. And oh, Clibbins! No, that was Cockrell coming in from way back. Gets into McEwen, but no harm, no foul. They keep racing. Up front, Adam Delmont has taken the race lead over James Neve. Sam Smith leading in Pro-Am. He's got a second back to Julian Schroer. Adam McNally completes your top 5. And Seal and Clark are close.
Yeah, they're really close. This is a battle for 7th place. Looks like they're almost going side by side down into turn number 1. Not close enough for Clark to mount a challenge, but looks like Michael Seal is blinking a little bit, Andrew. That could be the reason why Clark wasn't too confident, too keen on going down the inside. That little bit of blinking will definitely distract you and could definitely be dangerous for both parties. As well, looks like the number 1, Cooper, is really catching up to Clark quite quickly, so we might see the number 1 under action once again.
Jason Cooper nearing car 20. This would be for 8th. A little over 5 minutes to go, and yeah, James Clark knows that Jason Cooper's just so fast, lets him go before turn 7. And that's a good move as well. Jason can likely open a hole as he gets to Michael Seal and battles with him there. So it's not a bad idea for Clark to just let him go and follow car 1 on through.
Absolutely. So you can see Cooper now with a few extra positions, and with 5 minutes to go, where do you think the number 1 will finish? I don't think the top 5 is out of reach for him. Definitely don't. It would certainly be interesting, and I'm pretty sure his aggressiveness and cleanness throughout this race is definitely might reward him. But that was very fast. Look at how much he caught up.
Nearing car 57 for position number 7. Michael Seal. Then Nathan Davies up the road. That's what we're trying to get to. Adam McNally there. And Julian Schroer holding on to a top 5 still. Really good run so far out of Julian in this race in the 4th spot. Some really big growth there for the Team Gonzo 578. I mean, we have not seen this kind of day out of Julian ever. So this is really, really good to see.
Absolutely. Hopefully he can keep himself clean on the final few minutes of this race. Scoop. Oh, just as I mentioned that, Andrew, you saw the little braking action under the grass. That was really close to ended up in tears, but luckily for him, he keeps pointing in the right direction. Cooper set the fastest lap of the race just a few seconds ago, so he's still on pace. He's still looking very, very fast, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. You can see down here a few extra battles for position. This looks like he might just be outside of the top 10 if I'm not mistaken.
It is about the 15th spot. Still a long line of cars here. This is 6 cars in line with it looks like Cockrell starting to walk away a little bit, but we're watching Thortillo and Nick Clibbins, even Jamie Gulliford there in car 599. Lee Holmes just passed Duncan Cope. No, he's trying to get by Duncan Cope. That's through McLean's. And then you have that group of cars we were just watching as they roll through turn 7 and they'll head up to Coppice.
Now head into this uphill quick left-hander. You can see a few drivers looking down the inside. That was Nick Clibbins trying to get past Thor too low, and he's going to be compromised a little bit on exit entry. We might see once again a bit of 3 wide action. I wouldn't doubt it. Not quite close enough this time, but at least we're going to see a car going side by side into the quick chicane, into the S's. Looks like it's going to end just quickly. Thor Tulo still holding on for that 15th spot, and back then looks like they all made it through cleanly.
Michael Seal and Nathan Davies briefly changed positions. We're back in order now. About 2.5 minutes to go in this second race. Let's check in on, well, a couple of battles a little deeper in the field. Ashley Stimpson now out in the dirt. Just got passed up by Craig Schill, and that, I believe, that's in Melbourne. Craig Schill goes up the road chasing Paul Donkin. That would be for 23rd. Andy McEwen is now in 22nd. Really unfortunate race for Andy. Had a couple of things going right, and, well, that's all been undone. Dorotillo, Nick Clibbins, they changed spots here in turn number 1. Justin Cooper and Michael Seal as well.
Yeah, they're really close. Cooper's definitely trying to make those few last spots with 2 minutes to go. Still in 8th place. That is going to change real quickly. Michael Seal got a little bit on the grass. He's going to be conceding that position. So Cooper moves up into 7th. And, well, only a few extra spots outside the top 5. You can see him already being very aggressive on Nathan Davies. This is going to be a good battle to follow, Andrew, with 1 minute and 45 to go.
Still watching Cooper work his way through this field. Tom Griffiths and James Clark, they're close behind. Casper DeCourt, they're in 11th. This will be a fun invert when this race is over. It seems like passing is going to be a little more difficult today than usual. That's going to make inverts really, really important today. Jason Cooper all over Nathan Davies. This is for 6th. He's going to have him, I think.
Yeah, the run out of the S's was really good, and you can see he's going to look down the inside of turn 11. Is he going to outbrake Nathan Davies? Yes, he does. Goes really deep on the braking. He's going to compromise himself a little bit, but Nathan Davies got a little bit of action from Michael Seal, who wastes no time in getting that position. He moves himself up into 7th place, but Nathan is still looking down the inside of the final corner. He's close enough. They're going to door bang a little bit. Michael disappears essentially at the moment of contact, but Nathan Davies is still barely ahead, 3/4 of a car ahead, but Seal is still looking down the inside. This is far from over.
And look at that. Shore gets passed up there for the 5th spot by car 78 of Adam McNally. So great battles all the way through and through. A couple of cars blinking, but hey, we keep on rolling. I don't think Shore's done, actually. He was starting to look like he was going to fight McNally down the Craner curves. Now falls in behind. A couple of side-by-sides for the back. They get all in line for the old hairpin. Seal is all over Davies. He does not want to give that spot up.
Absolutely not. He really wants that spot, and he might look down the inside of turn 7, or he's going to be forced to the outside. So Nathan going a little bit defensive. That's going to hurt him on this short run. So Michael could have something to say to him, and looks like he might just look down the inside. Not quite close enough. So as we approach the final time, we're approaching the straightaway, and Jude, this is all or nothing. You can see Cooper just ahead, really chasing down, really applying a lot of pressure to Shower. A lot of positions still yet to be decided in the top 5.
Really, in the entire top 10, I think 5th through 10th are all pretty much in line. Even 4th through 10th are pretty much in one line right now, sorting things out for the final lap. Jason Cooper on the back end of Julian Schroer as they head down to Melbourne. Can Cooper do anything on the final lap? He gets to the inside of Schroer, just gets there on the Pro-Am driver. And that is Pro-Am's 2nd place, while Delmont will exit turn number 12, a race winner for the first time this season. Actually, no, I don't think so. I think he won one at Silverstone last week. So another one then for Adam Delmont. Checker flag is out.
Absolutely. That's his 2nd race. 2nd time he won on race number 2, so that's his lucky number. Neve's going to finish in 2nd place. Smith in 3rd. McNally in 4th. Cooper just beats Schroer for 5th place. Davies going to hold off Seal. Griffiths in 9th. And Clark in 10th place. What a race we just had.
So it's a repeat so far of the winners last week. Jason Cooper won race 1. Adam Delmont won race 2. Except Cooper went back to race number 3 and won that one. We'll see if that changes today. And Chris Knox is not here today, so I don't think he's going to win race number 4. But otherwise, we're keeping things very consistent as they all come across the line. So your Pro-Am winner, That's Sam Smith, a big win there. Your amateur winner is Duncan Cope in car 912 in position 13. So Duncan might actually have something here as the day goes on, and as this season goes on, it seems like he might be one to watch in that amateur class. Let's go ahead and bring up the spinny wheel one more time. We've got, in fact, 2 inverts to go, including this one. Again, you see some of those values have changed. A 24 is on there, a 13.
Oh
boy.
We
have
indeed
gotten our first full of the season, right? Or we have a full last week?
Yes. No, the first one.
So our first full invert of the season, and that's going to go all the way back, it looks like, to 27th position. Lars Fischer and Mark Oliver are the only 2 cars that I see not on the lead lap, or at least not having turned 9 or 10 laps. Alistair Hatcher, in fact, just crossed the finish line to wrap his race up. He was well behind. Ollie Ricks did not take the start, but I believe Ben Sharp started the final lap and should still get credit and should still be eligible for that invert. So it is a full invert, 27 spots. Lars Fischer, Mark Oliver, Ollie Ricks are the only ones not being moved up. And we'll, of course, get a look at our race results. Let's go ahead and bring those up. That's going to change things up big time.
Absolutely. Adam Delmon, he's going to be excited by his win, but unfortunately, Andrew, after seeing that result for the spinny wheel, he might not be too happy. Neve's going to finish in 2nd place. Sam Smith wins the Pro-Am class in 3rd place overall. A really good performance. McNally in 4th. Cooper in 5th. Julian Shore unfortunately dropped off to the top 4 in the final few laps, but still an excellent result for him. Nathan Davies in 7th. Michael Seal in 8th. Tom Griffiths in 9th. And Casper DeCourt in 10th place.
Finishing 11th and now starting well deep in the field will be Lee Holmes. Duncan Cope finishes 12th, actually. So a penalty there changing things up, it looks like, potentially, as Craig Cockrell will take 13th, Nick Clemens 14th, Thorotolo 15th. That is Jamie Gulliford, Roger Morton, Andy McEwen, Liam Silkstone, and Paul Donkin wrapping up your top 20. And look at some of those margins. Clibbins and Tullo were close, and Cockrell is only a little ways at the road from those guys. And even McEwen and Silkstone were close. Gulliford and Morton, they were close as well. So great battles through this field.
Absolutely, it was really good. Craig Schill is going to finish in 21st. Douglas Stewart in 22nd. Ashley Stimson in 23rd. Fiona Siddons in 24th. James Clark in 25th. He's going to be 2nd place. And Alistair Hatcher is going to be the pole position in 26th place. Ben Sharp is going to finish 1 lap down. Lars Fischer in 28th. Mark Oliver in 29th. And Ollie Ricks in 30th place.
So, Ben Sharp, it looks like, may not continue. He's had some screen issues. I guess the screen has been going black on him today, so he may take the pole, he may not. Alistair Hatcher, then, will be your next up. Start from the front of the field, then James Clark, Fiona Siddons, Ashley Stimson, Douglas Stewart, Craig Schill, in that order from front to back. Then, if we refresh this graphic, actually, we can bring this up. Then it would be Paul Donkin, Liam Silkstone, Andy McEwen, Roger Morton, Jamie Gulliford, Thorotolo, Nick Clibbins, Craig Cockrell, Duncan Cope, Lee Holmes in that order. And we can bring this up one more time. And it would be Casper DeCourt, Tom Griffiths, Michael Seal, Nathan Davies, Julian Schroer, Jason Cooper, Adam McNally, Sam Smith, James Neve, and Adam Delmont will start all the way in 27th position. That's going to be a lot of fun. Watching Cooper come from 22nd is going to be exciting. You've got McNally back there. Neve will be back there. Sam Smith is starting way back there. Nathan Davies. Oh boy, the list of names that are going to be starting so deep in this field are going to make things real exciting here for race number 3. 2 races then done and dusted, JP. It's been a whole lot of fun so far. What's your takeaway to this point?
Oh, Donington, the British circuits and the British drivers are absolutely amazing when it comes to racing. 2 down, 2 to go. Boy, I'm excited. The full invert's definitely going to be crazy. So, I mean, don't go anywhere. We'll be back really soon.
Race 3 on the way. You do not want to miss the rest of this day of racing. We're halfway through. We've got 2 inverts out of the way. A full invert, as JP mentioned right there. We've got 2 different winners. Yeah, things, and both of those winners, in fact, are starting in the back 5, back 10 of the field. They're actually going to have to complete that front-to-back challenge. It's Knock Hill next week, but Donington Park will not let us go just yet. And by all means, we invite you to check out social media while you wait. Maybe grab a snack, grab a water, do what you got to do. We'll be right back in just a minute. Welcome back to the virtual Donington Park circuit. Nightfall is just about here, JP. Well, you'll see in just one moment, but we are definitely working into the latter hours of the day, and I love when this league does this, when they bring in these kind of night finishes to a day of racing. We've only got 4 races. Well, I'd say we've only got 4 races. We've got 4 chances to kind of run through the daytime and run through the day-to-night cycle, and you can see we are definitely working into sunset now in race number 3. So I can only imagine how much darker race number 4 will be, JP. Did we miss a race somewhere? Did a race happen that we weren't expecting? Or, I mean, this is only race 3, and look at how dark it already is.
Yeah, this is promising as well for race number 4. I mean, can you imagine a full-on dark race around Donington? I would certainly be up for it. I'm not quite sure about the drivers, though, but I'm pretty sure me and you in the commentary box, we would definitely love it.
It is definitely getting to be that way. Let's go ahead and check on the weather. It's still nice and cool. The wind, though, is picking up to 11 miles an hour, and that's pretty well sustained. In fact, rising. It should drop a little bit here in just one moment, but out of the southwest at 12 miles per hour. That is definitely, it's moving, and we'll see how that changes things. It shouldn't with these guys. It shouldn't with these Mazda Miatas, but we will see if it does change anything. You can see Alistair Hatcher gritting up in first, James Clark in the second spot. A little further back, you can see Fiona Siddons, Ashley Stimson, and a few others as we get ready for race number 3. JP, call it now. Who wins?
Oh, you're not gonna do me like that, McNally? I don't know.
We'll find out. Green flag on the way, waiting on the signal from the flag stand, and green flag is out. Race 3 underway. Fiona Siddons, great run to turn 1. She takes second spot away. James Clark falls back a little bit now. Ashley Stimson through to third.
It's a really good start. You can see how close the top 5, how close the whole field is, but that top 5, we're definitely going to see a bit more action coming down into turn 4. Looks like quite a bit calm and orderly. We can kind of say that about the field, although we saw drivers going 3 wide. This is Fiona Siddons. She got a bit loose on the exit of turn 4. Unfortunately, that position that she gained, she's going to lose 1, 2, and maybe 3, as you can see there. Paul Donkey making his way around the outside on that Red Bull livery, and it looks like he's going to get the position. So Fiona being a little bit cautious, Andrew, sometimes that's exactly what you need.
Great look there as the field runs through Coppice. 3 wide through most of that mid-pack as they now... Oh, and there's a crash in the back. Mark Oliver and some others involved. Sam Smith comes to a stop. Trouble for a few guys in the back. Mark Oliver now gets rolling. Lars Fisher got a piece of that. Oh, look at this side-by-side up to the S's. That was a big block there from Nathan Davies on Michael Seal. Boy, we are wasting no time getting rough for this race.
Absolutely not. Drivers are eager to get those few positions early on. And you can see Paul Donkey making another move, finds himself in third place as you have a few more drivers beating and banging through Melbourne. Now coming up to this last corner, the approach of the last corner. Andrew, that's an amazing shot. Paul Donkey wastes no time as well and tries to move up to second place.
Work out of Goddard for the first time in this third race. Lap 1 done and dusted. It's Alistair Hatcher out front leading this way. Paul Donkin second, Stimson in third. Again, we're going with the belief that Stimson is likely an amateur or a pro-am. We don't know exactly just yet, but Paul Donkin with a challenge, and Paul won an overall race last season at Snetterton. He might have a chance here to do it again at Donington.
Yeah, he's wasting no time. He's already pulling away a little bit, so if he can keep his nose clean, he might just have a shot as Hatcher drops to second place. Stimson trying to apply a little bit of pressure, but looks like he might not be too close or close enough, at least on these next few corners. But boy, Andrew, race number 3 is already starting with, well, everything. I mean, it's just fantastic.
Duncan also won a race at Brands Hatch last season when we went to the full Grand Prix course, and oh, look at that. Julian Shore was that was Douglas Stewart with that big save out of turn 7. Gets right in front there of Craig Schill. This is a good battle now. On board with Craig Schill down the Starkey Straight. Another battle in front of these guys. It looks like one car poking out. That's Liam Silkstone. James Clark as well was looking for a spot. Silkstone goes wide. McEwen comes up through in contact with Jamie Gulliford. There was contact with McEwen and Gulliford earlier, and now Gulliford is the one turned around out of the S's, gets back rolling at 24th spot. We'll go back forward. Look at this. Gaggle down to turn number 11. Oh, boy. And I think we might be at Sunrise. Lights have shut off. I think we're at Sunrise.
Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah, true. The lights have turned off. As you can see, McEwen, I saw him making contact. Look at this, Andrew. Almost going 3 wide. I would think we went 3 wide at one point there on the final corner. Really good moves throughout the field. Casper the Court now finds himself in 10th place. Paul Donington doing exactly what he needs, is essentially pulling away from the rest of the pack. Hatcher still trying to hold off Stimson. Clark still very fast in 4th place. This is very far from over.
Look at Casper the Court already into the top 10, battling with Lee Holmes to keep that 10th position. We round the Craner curves down the hill, and Lee might have to just concede that one, but maybe not. This is actually going down to the old hairpin. He's got the inside of the corner now, and he loses that spot. Casper takes it away. Thortillo 3 wide now. Tullo back in his 88 Tech paint scheme. Oh my goodness.
This is absolutely crazy. I'm loving it. So you can see here, Tullo trying to hold off Casper, maybe a little bit of contact. Casper had to check up a little bit more. That's going to make him drop back down to 10th place. Silkstone just ahead of him. This is just some fantastic racing. You can see Thor got a little bit better exit than the number 594 just behind him. That sky is absolutely beautiful. The racing is beautiful. The track is beautiful. Everything is just great tonight, Andrew.
Tortullo headed down to the S's. Slim Silkstone just behind, and oh, a slide there for Casper the Court. 3 wide now. They'll work down to the hairpin one more time. Nathan Davies up the inside. Lee Holmes in the middle. Davies going to take multiple spots. Casper turns in. Contact.
Bit of contact. He was once in 10th place. Now he's back down into 14th. So really, really bad luck for him on this lap. You can see Cooper actually injured his own last place. So really interesting. Oh, as a big crash down into the final corner. I saw one car careering down. I'm not quite sure who that is. But boy, is that Thortullo? Yes, I think it is.
Yes, it was. That was Thortullo. 4 wide. They'll go down to Redgate. A couple of 88 Tech cars on the inside. Oh, they squeeze. I think that's Lee Holmes and Craig Schill both side by side. Lee's going to take it through the middle. Craig Schill backs out. Look at this field work down the Craner curves now. 9 minutes to go in race number 3. Wow, what a start to this one. First few laps, Nathan Davies moves over in front of a car once again. He's getting aggressive. He is here to race.
Yeah, they all are. This is getting really, really interesting. As you can see on board now with Adam Dalmont down in 15th place. He's looking on the back end of Michael Seal's car. And once again, that 57 just blinking a little bit. That might just be distracting. Michael wastes no time, goes already down the inside, finds himself a free position. Dalmont is just following him. And look at this, everybody kind of checking up, Andrew. This feels like a bit of the pace lap. They were also orderly side by side. And you can see going 3 wide even.
There is nothing orderly about this. Side by side, 5 rows deep. Let's go 3 wide. That's Douglas Stewart, I think, on the outside. He now moves back in behind. That might be Julian Shore, actually. You can see both cars in that line. I think Douglas is further up, and Julian is further back. Wow. I don't have words for this right now. I really don't.
This is just fantastic. You can see these guys definitely not stopping battling, even coming down into Melbourne. Oh, a bit of contact.
Craig Schill's around.
Oh, no, that's going to hurt him. He's going to be dropping all the way down. It looks like from 20 to 23rd position. You can see this battle up ahead. That's Clark McEwen. It looks like Alistair Hatcher just in front of them. Davies as well closing in quite a bit. McEwen looks like he got the position over Clark. He finds himself in 4th place, having the inside line down into turn number 1. And yes, he does. He even goes down the inside of Hatcher, and he might have that position. Hatcher manages to hold off, and look at this. Davies with a beautiful move, getting 2 spots down into turn 1.
Down the Craner curves one more time. Andy McEwen in the middle of all this. You've got Liam Silkstone just on his rear bumper. Davies takes a look at Alistair Hatcher, but goes nowhere just yet. Now going to set up for a run. He's got the spot to the right side. McEwen going to assist. Nose to tail, cars 5, 22, and 4. And here comes Silkstone up the left side. Going to tuck in behind the 88 Tech car of Alistair Hatcher. Some lunges a little further back. One car lunged very deep. That was Craig Cockrell. This is most of your top 10. In fact, 3rd through 9th in this group.
This is some amazing battle. You can see McEwen unfortunately dropped a few positions. Davies was just brilliant on this lap, finds himself in 3rd place. Hatcher now is going to have to defend from the number 4 of McEwen, who currently sits in 5th position. You can see we're almost going 3 wide down into the S's. McEwen going really down the inside. That's probably going to help, and you can see he's a side-by-side of Hatcher. He gets that position on the exit, clears the number 979, and look at this, Andrew, 3 wide. We might see Clark going down the inside of 2 cars. He goes a bit defensive. Silkstone, though, looks like he goes deep. No, so everybody makes it through. Hatcher, unfortunately, losing a few spots.
1 car out in the dirt a little bit. That's either Delmont or McNally. I think that was McNally, potentially. As the Excite cars run back up into the top 10. Alistair Hatcher fighting with James Clark. Right back to the inside of that Swift Cooper machine.
And Clark's looks like he's gonna get that position. We're gonna have even more side-by-side action down into turn 1. Look at this train, Andrew. This is absolutely brilliant. And a lot of positions yet to be made. As you can see, Clark looks like he got that position down into turn number 1. Hatcher is gonna be he's gonna be holding that position, looks like, for the time being. You can see Delmont down the inside, and this is on board with McNally just behind the number 77. So Delmont, could he look down the inside of Hatcher? Down into turn 4, not quite. He sits just behind, trying to apply a little bit of pressure, getting a good enough exit. Can he challenge the number 979? Looks like not too close enough. And oh, we had a car just stopped on the exit.
A couple of cars sliding back. Douglas Stewart is one of them. And oh, that car stopped is one of the, that is Jason Cooper. He's already 1 lap down. Oh my goodness, we just had a massive crash ahead. Massive crash in McLean's. Multiple cars cleaned out. Couple of Excite cars. Delmont is stopped, now gets back rolling. Let's get a replay. What happens when you take, 10 cars, put them in one little group, maybe a half second apart, and throw them around Donington a few times? Eventually, you get this. We're going to have a big crash in turn 7. Just keep an eye on everybody here. Delmont is involved, so we'll just follow car 77. Jason Cooper there in the dirt. He's going to finish 27th in this race. Oh, that was Silks on the inside of Clark. Wow.
Yeah, it's up ahead of battle. The contact happens ahead on the battle, as you mentioned, with Clark. So
no, it was Clark.
Oh, okay.
Clark gets hit by Silkstone. That's what we saw there in turn 7. We'll see it one more time. Silkstone's going to come up the inside, gets this run. Yeah, there's nobody in front of James Clark. Just watch the 594. This is a late move into the corner, but he's going to make it work right there. And they all kind of stack up. McNally was very lucky to go on by. Delmont not quite so lucky. Cars stack up there. Silkstone reverses, goes back to the pit lane. One other car stops. It was one of their Excite teammates, actually. And Delmont finally gets back rolling. Let's go back live up to the front. There is a 10th gap between McEwen and Holmes. They are battling. They are side by side up the run to McLean's, it looks like. And McEwen gets that spot back away from Lee Holmes for now.
Oh, Lee got really loose on the exit, but he manages to catch the car. This is still a really good battle. This is for 4th position. So the number 4 defending his 4th position. Lee looks like he got a good exit. He might challenge McEwen down into the S's. He's gonna have to look to the outside, though. That's not the optimal line. He backs off a little bit, trying to focus on the exit, but looks like he just misses the inside curb on the first approach. And unfortunately, Andrew, he might have to settle down for 5th position, at least for the time being.
And how about car 529? Paul Donkin clear of the field by over 7 seconds. And that gap continues to grow. Ashley Stimpson and Nathan Davies holding down the fort on the rest of the podium. And we still, well, that is a Pro-Am banner on that car. So we're going to assume Pro-Am then for Ashley Stimpson. So this is actually your Pro-Am leader. Potentially. We're believing this is your Pro-Am leader, at least for the time being. I'll try and confirm that here in the last couple of minutes, but this is actually really big for car 08.
Yeah, Stimpson is also doing a good race. They're kind of both running their own races. You can see Stimpson obviously has a 7.4 second gap to Paul Donkin and around a 3 second gap to Nathan Davies. So currently just keeping his nose clean, trying to manage that gap back down to Davies. And yeah, well, a really good race from, well, pretty much the top 3, you can say. I mean, Donkin has been nothing short of untouchable, I think, Andrew, and has been, a stellar drive.
Can confirm. Ashley Stimson, a Pro-Am driver in this series, so has the correct Pro-Am insignia there on car 08, and is leading now in Pro-Am competition. Nathan Davies trying to catch up. That would be for the win if he can get there, but he's still quite a ways back. Michael Steele and Nick Klidman's very close here as a few more cars work up towards Coppice. A few more positions change hands. There's great battles around the entire field right now. Jamie Gullifer, Doratilla right here.
Isn't Paul Donkin Pro-Am as well?
You know, we'll let that one marinate.
But you can see a few extra battles coming down the inside of the S.
I'm not used to the leader being Pro-Am, all right? I'm not used to the leader being Pro-Am, so Paul Donkin is just putting on a clinic this afternoon, and this will be this will be the final lap, actually. White flag is out for race leader Paul Donkin, a Pro-Am. So Stimson second and Davies third are both Pro-Ams.
Oh, this is a full Pro-Am podium.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, wow.
I don't think we've had that before. I don't think we've had that yet. White flag is out, presented by Whiplash Sim Cams. A nice lap there out of Andy McEwen. A few more battles across the line. These guys are giving me gray hairs, man.
This is absolutely fantastic. I'm loving it. You can see Casper DeCourt chasing down McNally just ahead of him. This is a battle for 6th place. Obviously, the final lap of the race, so Casper needs to get this move done on this lap. Looks like the exit that he got down out of turn 1 is really good. Could we see a challenge down into turn 4? Not close enough, but you can see the number 5 really trying to apply a lot of pressure to the number 78 just ahead. And Andrew, I don't think the battle for 6 is over just yet because Casper is looking really quick, and McNally really needs to hold off that pressure. And you can see already down into turn 7, McNally had to go defensive. Casper is trying to get a better exit, and he almost touched on the run down up to turn 8.
Steele and Clibbins are close right behind. Very good battle here. McEwen is closing in on Davies. They'll run down to the S's here. Can McEwen do anything? This would be to break up the podium. McEwen's going to win here in Pro. He is going to take this Pro win unless something really weird happens, in which case Lee Holmes will be the next one. So this is actually really big for Andy McEwen as well. That's kind of understated by the fact that he's not actually leading this race outright. Around the outside, nothing he can do there. Lee Holmes gets very close. Lee might try something in the final corner, but up ahead, it is Paul Donkin working through Goddard's for the final time, and he will exit turn 12, a race winner this season in race number 3 one more time. Battles to the final corner, Davies and McEwen. Nothing changes there. It is a full Pro-Am podium here in race number 3.
A fantastic race, fantastic result for all 3 Pro-Am drivers. Lee Holmes is going to end off the race with the fastest lap, so really good job for him to finish in 5th place. McEwen obviously in 4th. McNally is going to finish in 6th after holding off the pressure from Casper DeCourt, Steele in 8th, Clibbins in 9th, and Lars Fisher in 10th place.
Cockrell will be the next one across the line. He will finish 19th position over Mark Oliver and Alistair Hatcher. James Clark will finish on the lead lap in 22nd. Fiona Siddons will come on through. She is in the final corner. She may be the final car. No, Douglas Stewart will be the final car, it looks like, to finish this race. Adam Delmont had an issue on the final lap and unfortunately will not finish this race as a part of the field. So Team Gonzo Racing 579, the final car to finish this race up, will not gain a spot here as Fiona comes across the line in 23rd. A Pro-Am podium, and let's not forget the fact that Andy McEwen just won in Pro, and if not for the Pro-Am drivers ahead, would have won this race outright. Get things going for his season. That's big. That is big, big, big for Andy McEwen over the rest of these Pro drivers. I think that we can't sell that short. That is really going to change this Pro battle. He comes into this race... Oh my, somewhere way down the order. McEwen in 16th, so he's going to jump up a few spots at least. Should get ahead of Clark and Clibbins maybe. Should definitely get ahead of Ben Sharp. Potentially ahead of guys like Lars Fisher. We'll see how that works out. He should move well up the order with this one. And you can see Douglas Stewart will work out of the final corner and wrap this one up. Let's go ahead and get ready then for our final invert of the day, JP. Call your shot now. Where is it going to land?
It's going to be 16.
16. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm going to go for 24. It's not going to be 24. It's not going to be 16. It might split the middle. No, 17 it looks like. So 17 for the first race, 17 for the final race. This wheel really likes number 17 for some reason.
Yeah, it once was my favorite number, my lucky number, so take that for what you will. On race number 3, Paul Donkin's gonna win that race with an absolutely amazing performance. Actually, Andrew, I think that's the biggest gap we had from P1 to P2 so far in the MX-5. Ashley Stimson's gonna finish in 2nd place, and Nathan Davies in 3rd for an overall Pro-Am podium. Really good to see those 3 drivers up there. Andrew McEwen, as you mentioned, is gonna win the Pro class, albeit in 4th place. Lee Holmes in 5th place, Adam McNally in 6th, Casper DeCoeur in 7th, Michael Seeley in 8th, Nick Clibbins in 9th, Lars Fischer in 10th. Interestingly enough, the only 3 Pro-Am drivers in the top 10, they finished in the top 3.
And I'm looking through last season's results. So it looks like both times Paul Donkin won a race last season overall, it was race number 3. And continuing the theme here with Donington Park, won race number 3 at Steaderton last season and race number 3 at Brands Hatch last season when they went to Brands Hatch for the Grand Prix circuit. So Paul Donkin has a theme. It's winning race number 3 when he can. It's James Neve then in 11th, Duncan Cope 12th, Julian Schroer there in 13th spot, Thor Tullo 14th, Jamie Gulliford, Craig Schill, and Sam Smith all the way down to 17th spot. Sam Smith then your pole sitter for race number 4. Roger Morton just, and I mean just, misses out. Craig Schill there will start 2nd, Jamie Gulliford 3rd, Thor Tullo 4th, Julian Schroer 5th, and so on and so forth. This order is going to be really, really wild for race number 4, and it's going to change things up a whole lot. You see Morton, Cockrell, and Oliver, they will round out your top 20.
21st place, we go to Alistair Hatcher, James Clark in 22nd, Fiona Citizen 23rd, Douglas Stewart in 24th, the last driver to finish on the lead lap, Adam Dalman in 25th, Cooper in 26th, Liam Silkstone in 27th, and Tom Griffiths, Andrew, in 28th place.
That is that then. 28 cars for race number 3. We've got race 4 on the way. It's an invert of 17. We'll be right back with more coverage from Donington Park. Don't you go anywhere. A whole lot more racing. In fact, 15 minutes more racing for BSR in just a few more moments. Welcome back to the virtual Donington Park circuit. 3 races out of the way, and, well, they were kind of sunny for 2 of them. The last one in the sunrise. This one, it looks like, might be in the sunrise once more, but maybe a little bit earlier, or even in the sunset, JP. I actually am not entirely sure, but that looks fantastic. That is certainly one heck of a backdrop here for race number 4.
Absolutely. We're kind of used to it, BSR having this absolutely amazing skylights for the final race. I'm all up for it. It really leaves, I guess, a tone, like a final boss fight, the final challenge for these drivers. It's the last race as well, Andrew. Only 15 more minutes for them to tackle to get as many points as they possibly can to help them on their championship charge.
We apologize for those of you that might have missed race number 3 over on Facebook and hopefully are joining us now for race number 4. Unfortunately, sometimes things don't quite go the way they were intended on Facebook, and we'll just leave that one there. But glad to have JP Costa joining me as per usual on the coverage for today. This is round number 2 for BSR MX-5 Trophy Tuesdays. It's been a whale of a time so far throughout the day. Really good racing through and through, and we are excited for another bit of really good racing. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the front starters. You've got Craig Schill. That'll be rolling off from the 2nd position. Thortula rolls off just behind him, one of his teammates there in 4th. Jamie Gulliford will start from 3rd. Our pole sitter, Sam Smith, hasn't gridded up just yet. Julian Schroer will start from the 5th position. So it is a fully pro and pro-am top 5, and there is Sam Smith ready to go. In fact, look at that. Red lights on. Green lights waiting here for race number 4 on the day, and Sam Smith is about to get this entire field rolling off and away. Green flag is out for the final time today. Oh, Andy McEwen in trouble. Big crash. Well, not even a big crash. They actually came to a stop pretty quickly. But he and Lee Holmes go around at the back of the field.
Definitely not the race start that they wanted, but these guys up front, they're definitely getting really racing. You can see a lot of drivers going side by side. This is the final opportunity that they have. This is the final time you're going to see lap number 1 on their tickers tonight, Andrew. So we might see some aggressive moves early on, maybe down into turn 7.
It's also a final time to be patient, isn't it, and set these passes up the right way, so maybe not be so aggressive as certainly on lap number 1, but we'll see what these guys can do. It's a side-by-side battle for the race lead in overall and pro-am, and look at that. Jamie Gulliford takes the top spot on lap number 1 there through Coppice. Thortullo now just behind.
So yeah, already a change up for the lead. We might have a change for 2nd place as well. So take a look at this down into the S's. Who's going to excel? Well, looks like, no, that's a battle for the lead, actually. So, yeah, we stay the same. And, boy, this is far from over. You can see the top 3, Andrew, really close together. I expect to see plenty of moves from these guys up front. But back here as well, look at this.
You see everybody choosing their lines there into the final, or into the hairpin for the final first lap of the day. Anyways, oh, my goodness. James Clark up on 2 wheels. Everybody choosing their lines, 2-3 wide into the hairpin. And we'll go now to Goddard's. Back-to-back hairpins here really mix things up at Donington Park, and I think in the best of ways.
Absolutely. Still a challenge as it looks like the leader crosses the start-finish line to finish lap number 1. We already have 2 cars coming down to the pit lane. 3, 4 cars? How many cars are coming down to pit lane, Andrew? Is this all for penalties?
I would imagine so. Paul Duncan here coming down the pit lane, getting tires as well. Might have left those checked. Silkstone is in. Siddons. You don't have to pit in this league, so I'd imagine these are penalties. Yeah, it was a stop and go there for Silkstone, a stop and go for Fiona Siddons, and I think Paul Duncan might have forgot to uncheck his pit service. Anyways, back up front, here we go. Jamie Gulliford still leading lap number 2 now. Sam Smith 2nd, Thortullo 3rd. James Neve, your first pro driver, and he is just ahead of this battle with Clibbins up the inside of Schill, and he'll take that spot away. That's 5th for Nick.
Schill still in 6th place, leading the amateur class inside the top 10. Really good race for him so far. But the battle for the lead is definitely far from over. You can see Sam Smith looking down the inside of Gulliford. They're going to be drag racing through the back straightaway, heading into the S's. Looks like Gulliford still has the lead and has 3/4 of a car. So look at Thulo down the inside, not quite close enough. But yeah, it looks like they're all going to stick within those positions. As you can see, a few extra battles outside, just outside the top 20. That's Lars Fisher. Looks like he just got past Craig Schill as well, so he moves up to 6th place.
Craig Schill just made a big, Craig Schill lost that spot to Lars Fisher, made a big move, and even Adam McNally going to follow on through. Big moves here inside the top 10, guys vying for positions that they desperately need for their points battles. And there we go, lights just shut off, and Thortolo aggressive there to Goddard's in the braking zone. So we are in Sunrise once again. Craig Schill, Julian Schroer in trouble.
Oh, both of them on the final corner. Craig unfortunately had to take the wider line, and he's going to be rejoining. So even more contact. Looks like a car just jumped. Nick Clibbins sets the fastest lap of the race. So yeah, Andrew, looks like on the final race, we're getting a bit racy, and unfortunately that's leading to a few contacts as we cut once again to Nick Clibbins. He's challenging James Neve, looks like just ahead of him for 4th place.
This is for your pro lead, and I found out actually between races that Nathan Davies this season is classified apparently as a pro. He's still got a Pro-Am number, so I wonder if that's going to change, but he's on the standings and on the sign-up sheet as a pro driver. So we'll see if that changes for week number 3 or if that's straightened out. But he may have actually won in pro last race from the 3rd spot overall, and that would have taken that pro win away from Andy McEwen in class. But anyways, Nick Clibbins, big move there. That is for the race lead in pro. That I know.
Yeah, looks like the number 13 leads that battle. Looks like Neve might lose out a position to Lars Fisher just behind. So from leading his class, he might drop down to 3rd place. Looks like Fisher goes a little bit cautious, trying to get a good enough exit on the exit of the S's. And it looks like he did just that. So I expect a move down the inside of Melbourne. Is the number 96 going to go deep on the braking? Yes, he does already side by side and already clears that number 7. Almost looking down the inside of Clibbins, looks like.
Jamie Gulliford now with trouble for the race lead once again. Sam Smith battling here. They're top 7 or so, top 6 or so it looks like, in a really heated battle, spirited battle here. Smith tries to go back up the inside, no dice just yet. Gulliford's going to take that lead back away and roll with a bit of a gap now down to Redgate. Is he going to arc it out for an entry? Yes, he is. Goes over to the left. Now turns back in, and Sam Smith fills that hole. Can't quite take that spot away. Gulliford clears him again.
Was really good. Gulliford kind of left the door open. Smith needed no second invitation, but unfortunately couldn't really stick if being forced to the apex. So the number 599 still leads the number 527, eager to get that lead once again. So this is about Andrew is gonna just keep on going, and I expect these guys just to keep it clean throughout. As you can see, Clibbins challenging Thulo for 3rd place as well. We might see a move down up into turn 7. Looks like not quite, but we do see a move up into turn 7 for the lead. Gulliford still sticking around the outside and retaining, but Sam Smith might look down up into turn number 8. Will he? Not quite close enough.
And blinking now out of Gulliford. These drivers won't like that. They all hang back. You can see Clibbins gives some room. Thortolo even gave some room there, and here comes Nick. Let's see. So Smith gave some room. Clibbins gave some room as well. They all kind of back up. You can see that further back on, or further on. Back in the top 10, you can see that group now working into the S's behind those guys. Let's take a look at them real quick with Adam Delmont and, Tom Griffith, Jason Cooper, and Nathan Davies, it looks like, even Adam McNally. So this is the rest of your top 10 as we work into Melbourne, and really, it's about to be one whole line of 10 cars.
Absolutely, this is going to be excellent as we head into the final corner once again. And it's just going to be interesting. Andrew, the number 13, he's looking extremely racy, so the drivers ahead really need to pick up the pace.
Whoa!
And we have a big crash.
James Neve turned around in Goddard's. He gets hit by Adam McNally. And Neve is just stuck waiting. Potentially, I would imagine, in some disbelief as well. He gets back rolling in 20th position, just ahead of Alistair Hatcher and Craig Cockrell. Look at this side-by-side battle. An Excite number 546 on an 88 Tech number 964. They'll go down to Redgate.
Down the inside, you can see it right there. Well, gas that position done. Looks like an easy move, Andrew, being done as we cut back to the battle for the lead. You can see Sam Smith once again trying it this time around the outside. Can he make a move into turn number 7 around the outside? Gulliford is going to be forced to the inside. A little bit of a tap on the brakes. That might cost him, but no, it doesn't. Now his teammate is going to give him a little bit of a bump up into turn number 8. They're still side by side. Gulliford is going to try to squeeze Sam Smith to the outside. Looks like it's going to be a drag race on the back straightaway, and Sam might just have this position.
He does for now. Is he going to have it by the S's? Clibbins lifts, gives these guys some space, and yes, Sam Smith takes the race lead back away. Did he clip too far to the inside? Does he get a slowdown here? Not yet. Gulliford has to go right. Clibbins with a run down to the Melbourne hairpin. Gulliford's not done though, and there's Lars Fischer as well. Down to the Melbourne hairpin, right around the apex. Gulliford gets that spot back away. Oh, and contact there for the pro lead.
Yeah, contact for the battle for the pro lead, for battle for third. Clibbins and Fischer coming together on the exit of Melbourne. You can see up ahead, this is the view that Cooper has up ahead. Really good view. You can see Lars Fischer is going to end up losing the position to Thor Tulo, Andrew, with 6 minutes to go. This is getting very, very heated. You can see Lars trying to look at any place possible. Thor is going to end up yielding that inside line, and that's going to cost him a position. So Lars Fischer moves himself back into 4th place.
And Jason Cooper is there. He is in this top 6 now. He has caught these guys and is ready to do some battle and ready to drive through them, I would imagine. This should be a fun onboard.
This is definitely going to be a fun onboard, just looking at the precision, looking at the drivers ahead, trying to approach this, trying to get any positions, and this might be the invitation that Cooper needs. Can he go down the inside into turn number 7? He's definitely going to be looking for it. He has the run into the braking zone. Yes, he does. A lot of confidence. Thor kind of just hanging back, trying to give himself a little bit of breathing air, and it looks like he's going to do that by yielding 5th place to Cooper. So now, Andrew, reigning champion, race number 1 winner, he's in 5th place.
Here's the battle further back. Casper DeCourt, Roger Morton, Julian Schroer, and it looks like Lee Holmes in a line. They work up to Coppice. Casper is 15th. Roger Morton there in 16th, Julian Schroer 17th, and Lee Holmes 18th. And they're just ahead of the 2 James in 19th and 20th. A little deeper in the field to find Craig Cockrell in 21st, Greg Schill 22nd, Alistair Hatcher 23rd, Mark Oliver 24th. And then this battle has just gotten a little more spicy into the Melbourne hairpin. There was a change for position. Clibbins took it away, and now Clibbins going to force himself down to the inside of Jamie Gulliford. Up the inside he will go. Gulliford 3 wide with Lars Fischer, and that is a spot for car 13, up to 2nd.
That's exactly what he needed. Looks like the 2 5-star motorsport teammates are going to go side by side. Fischer's going to have the inside line. He might look down the inside of Gulliford. Will he? Not close enough,
yes,
but Cooper, yes, he will. So Gulliford leaves the door open. That's going to cost him a little bit of contact between those two. So Lars Fischer might find himself in 3rd place by the end of this battle. Now heading into turn 3 down here and into turn 4, the big braking zone. Who's going to excel? The driver on the inside or the outside? Fischer's go deep under braking. Gulliford is trying to get a good enough exit. He's not going to do that. Look at Cooper, though.
Jason Cooper around the outside now, trying to follow his 5-star motorsport teammate, trying to battle you with Jamie Gulliford. Gulliford has put on a great show, but sometimes these pros are just a little too much, and we're seeing that now as even Thortillo gets back up to car 599. Tom Griffith's now in line behind him. Jason Cooper up to 4th, Lars Fischer in 3rd. They're going to bring the fight to Nick Clibbins and Sam Smith, but these 2 Excite drivers are starting to run away, and they're trying to run away. They've got just about a second back to Lars Fischer and company with 3 minutes to go.
3 minutes to go. This is running. They're running out of time. You can see Clibbins still 0.4 of a second behind the leader. You can see Cooper got himself past his teammate. Did Fischer get a slowdown penalty?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he did. At least he's yielding the position to Gulliford at this time, so he's going to drop back down to 5th place. He's going to be forced on the outside, so Thor Tulo could see himself passing the number 96 around the outside into turn number 1. Could Tom Griffiths maybe make it 3 wide? Not quite. Tom is going to look down the inside of Thor. Lars is going to go down the inside of Jamie. This is absolutely amazing.
1 car in the dirt. That's Nick Clibbins in the dirt along the inside wall. He loses a ton of time. Drops all the way down to the 8th position. He was going to win in pro, and I think he might have made some contact with his teammate Sam Smith. Drops all the way down to 8th, and now Jason Cooper on the back end of Sam Smith, and Sam has got to hang on for 2 laps against the best driver in the series. He's already got a win today, 2 wins last week at Silverstone, and he went for what, 11 last season. Jason Cooper is here and ready to battle with car 527.
Absolutely. Look at Jason. He won 2 races last time out last weekend. He won 2 more. Sam is definitely going to be trying to deny him that opportunity, but Cooper just biding his time. He probably knows he has a little bit more pace than the number 527, but he still needs to make that move stick. Looks like Smith goes defensive into 8. That's going to cost him on exit, and well, already cost him. Oh, a bit of contact between the leaders. Cooper's going to have to slow down a little bit. He's going to have to rethink his approach. So Smith is going to have to have breathing room a little bit, Andrew, as they come into the S's.
Sam's already hung on for the better part of a lap. Only a couple of opportunities left for Jason Cooper with this 2 to go lap. Lap number 8 of 9. Jason's going to have a big opportunity, though, here into Melbourne. Looks to the left side instead of the inside. Does he cross him up? He's going to try. Gets right back to his bumper. What a close-up there. Does he try in Goddard's potentially?
Probably. This could very well happen.
Yes,
you can see
is.
Smith. Yep. So, not a lot of challenge. Oh, look at Lars coming.
Sam ain't done, and oh, Jason drives him into the grass.
He's not going to be
Smith
too
now,
happy
white
about
flag.
it.
Presented by Whiplash Simcams. Sam Smith around the outside, potentially of Redgate. Is he going to try and challenge for this win? Lars Fischer's going to fill that gap, and oh, he hits him. Sam Smith gets right into Jason Cooper. Gets him just upset enough.
Lars Fischer doing absolutely everything he can to help his teammate, and then look up to the inside. Definitely upset Sam Smith quite enough to make sure he didn't get an over and under. But you can see coming down into turn 4, Sam really racing, really getting close to the bumper of the number 1 car, Cooper. This is the closest he had, Andrew, after he got the lead, especially in race number 1. Smith, is he going to look down the inside or the outside into turn number 7 on the outside? Cooper goes defensive. They're going to go side by side. This is absolutely amazing. Now into turn 8, Cooper has a little bit of an advantage, but still less than a tenth.
This isn't over just yet for the race win. Contact there. Lars Fischer fills the gap as well. And it's going to be a big slipstream here for Sam Smith down this Starkey straight. He's got Lars Fischer to the right side. No, Lars now back in behind car 527. That's exactly what Sam Smith needed. To the S's, he sits back. He's going to get a run then, I would imagine, down to the Melbourne hairpin. A little close there to the signs on the inside, the bollards. But he just misses them as Lars Fischer's now going to get a run. And I think the fight for Sam Smith is over. Fischer sends it up the inside, takes that second spot away. And now Sam has got to think about that Pro-Am driver of Gulliford just behind. His dreams of an overall win, they're out the window. Jason Cooper is going to storm away to another one as here comes Gulliford. He can't do anything. Oh, and Sam Smith takes one more shot there at Lars Fischer, but he's not going to have enough. Checkered flag is out for Jason Cooper.
He's going to win with an absolutely amazing battle with Sam Smith. Looks like Sam, yeah, he's going to finish in 3rd place. Lars Fischer is going to finish in 2nd. Gulliford in 4th. What an absolutely amazing race by them. Griffith's going to finish in 5th. Davies and Thulu 6 and 7. Delmon, McNally, and Clibbins, Andrew, are going to round off our top 10.
That is a 4th win already this season for Jason Cooper. He is batting .500 as a field of the 88 Tech guys come across the line. That was Schill, Oliver, and Hatcher. Jonas Siddons next up, then Craig Cockrell for Excite Energy. But already he is winning every other race.
He won 50% of the races so far.
Yeah, batting .500. That's incredible.
It's insane. And, well, I mean, that just highlights how great of a driver he is, doesn't it?
That it does. Craig Cockrell going to be the last car to finish this race up. He's headed on the Starkey straight. Once he finishes this race, we'll have a chance to go through the race results. But this guy, Jason Cooper, has just been sensational since he missed round 1 at Donington here last season, joined back in at Brands Hatch, and since then has been on a tear. In fact, if we go all the way back through the winter season, he had 11 wins last season, now 4 more this season. So in 11 rounds of racing, that is 4 races apiece, that's 44 races. He has won 15 of them. That percentage, of course, he missed 4 of them. He might have even missed another week, but that percentage, if you're wondering, 15 divided by 44 races is 34%. 34% of the time. That is more than 1/3 of the time. So 1 out of 3 races, Jason Cooper wins.
That is insane. I mean, wow, what a driver we have the opportunity to have on a series, Andrew. And obviously, him winning races might upset a few people, but, if you look on the other side, that's just going to be pushing other drivers, to their best to make sure they beat the best driver there is.
Jason Cooper wins this 4th race in the day. Lars Fischer there in 2nd place. Sam Smith, unfortunately, drops down to 3rd. It was almost a Cinderella story there for car 527. Instead, he will finish 3rd, just ahead of Jamie Gulliford. And with all of that happening up front, we lost touch on the rest of the top 10. Look at how they finish up here. Tom Griffiths for Excite Energy there in the 5th spot. Nathan Davies and Thortolo split them. Thortolo, a great day for him, especially in this last race for 88 Tech. He finishes in 7th. Adam Delmont, Adam McNally, and Nick Clibbins round things off for Excite Energy. They put 5 cars in this top 10. That's impressive.
Very, very impressive. Really good job by them. Andrew McEwen is going to finish in 11th place. Michael Sewell in 12th. Casper DeCourty in 13th. Lee Holmes 14th spot. James Clark in 15th. Ahead of Julian Sherwood. Roger Morton 17th. James Neven 18th. Ashley Stimson 19th. And Craig Schill in 20th place.
Finishing 21st in race number 4, you'll find Mark Oliver, car 999 with Alistair Hatcher just behind. They all finished in a group there. Craig Schill, Mark Oliver, and Alistair Hatcher. Fiona Siddons finishes 23rd. Douglas Stewart there 24th. Craig Cockle 25th. Paul Donkin 26th. And Liam Silkstone, another rough one here, 27th position in car 594. Now into that race, I mentioned at the back end of race number 3 that it was going to help out Andy McEwen to have that really good run in that last race. Now, he did move up a little ways, but only went from 16th to 14th in the point standings, just behind Nick Clibbins, who actually finished 1 spot ahead of him. So Andy's going to kind of stagnate there around the 14th spot, but he is at least starting to bring his season back. He, of course, contended for a championship last season alongside Jason Cooper. This season, it's going to be a little more tough, as your front runners certainly are Jason Cooper, Adam McNally, Lee Holmes for 88 Tech, and even Nathan Davies, Adam Delmont, they are certainly there. In fact, they're all within 60 points of each other to start this season off, but we're still waiting on race 4 results to go in, and we'll have updated standings that we can articulate to you here in just a few moments. But JP, we do have one driver at least waiting on us to go ahead and talk to us and tell us about his race, and that is Adam McNally, car 78, headed your way.
So, Adam, at one point in time in race number 3, I believe, I chose you to be, the winning driver. But unfortunately, the win didn't come your way, at least on this run. But how was your day of racing?
Yeah, it's been pretty all right. Some great races. I had a few little incidents, like with James Neve in that final race there. Everyone just seemed to check up a bit more into that hairpin, and I just hit the back of him. I couldn't stop. So I had to go in and apologise to James for turning him round. But apart from that, the night's racing's been great. Pace wasn't really there in qualifying, but made it up for it in the races.
Well, absolutely. And racing was, absolutely fantastic today. How easy was it, to line up a move, especially with the fast corners around Donington?
Oh, really difficult, because if you find yourself on the outside, some corners you find yourself getting trained. And you can go for an overtake 1 second and then lose 2-3 spots. By the time you go down the straight in the next, it happened to us in race 3, I think. I made a couple of places up and then instantly dropped them again. But it's part of racing around here and pack racing. And the MX-5, that draft's so important sometimes.
And, well, absolutely. And obviously, looking towards next week, Knockhill, the final British circuit of the schedule. How confident are you coming into Knockhill?
Oh, I've never done Knockhill reverse, but I think it should be crazy. I imagine the jump down through that chicane will be good fun to watch. I think there may be a fair few crashes, but we'll see.
It will definitely be interesting. We're definitely going to keep an eye out for you, Adam. So, all of that being said, I'm going to wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we can talk to you plenty of times in a week's time.
All right, thank you very much.
Race 3, yeah. I just got the power down a bit too soon at the old hairpin and the back end came round on me. But overall tonight, I'm happy. I'm third in AM over the 4 races tonight, so up into the top 3 in the AM Championship, so I'm happy.
And you're 1 point ahead of Alistair Hatcher. How have things changed this season? Of course, Alistair now being added into the groove of things, and several drivers in different places, different teams, different classes. How have things changed from last season to this season?
Well, as far as the racing's concerned, nothing's changed at all. It's very competitive out there, all the way from Jason at the top all the way down to the last place. They're all battling hard.
And Knockhill next week, but not the normal Knockhill, not the right way around. It's the reverse way around, and that changes things up. Now turn 1 is the last corner, and the last corner is turn 1. How do you change your approach then for Knockhill next week?
That's going to be fun. I think it's going to be mayhem. There's going to be some big pile-ups, I think. Just hopefully steer clear of any of it and get some good results.
And BSRTC here Thursday, is it anything like round 1 of last season where there were a lot of great battles, a few bits of drama?
Yeah, hopefully I'll have a good night in that. Silverstone didn't really go my way, but looking forward to Thursday night in it.
And of course, we're adding in all of these American circuits later on. In fact, 7 straight weeks of just racing in the United States. Well, actually, I think there's one there where it's in Canada. But regardless, this side of the pond, is there any one of those courses that you feel like is your best opportunity to really shine? Is there any one of those that's your favorite?
There's 3 what I really like. Sebring, Watkins Glen, and that Canadian one, Mossback Park. That's a good one as well.
Well, there you go. Fiona, thanks so much for your time. We'll be talking to you, I'm sure, the rest of the season. Seems like you're one of the few that actually wants to come and talk to us. I don't know about these other guys. Maybe we've talked too bad about them a couple of times, but thanks so much for your time. Thanks for talking to us each week, and we'll see you at Knockhill next week.
Yep, see you next week.
Fiona Siddons there sporting the new Result clothing colors. Good to see her getting into that team with Result, Spyro, and everybody else within that organization. Teamed up with Roger Morton and a few others. Ollie Ricks on that team as well. So really good organization. Sir Alan Toon is a big part there at Result Clothing and their iRacing team. So good to see that organization growing a little bit and getting a larger footprint here at JP. Couple of driver interviews then. Oh, and you know what? Craig Schill is in the waiting room. Let's go ahead and bring in Craig Schill.
So Craig, last minute interview looks like. How was your race day today?
Mixed. I struggled. I will admit I did struggle tonight. Qualifying, practice I had pace, but race it seemed to abandon me.
We saw you, plenty of times inside the top 10. Unfortunately, it looks like a few bad luck incidents came out your way. Can you talk us through it?
Yeah, I was doing all right. I think it was race 3. I managed to get myself up there, and I could see Alistair in front, and I knew that he would be the leader. And my plan was to get out behind him and just run rear guard for him. But then I got hit. Coming into the old hairpin, not old hairpin, Melbourne hairpin, out of nowhere, and that just put me to the back of the grid, unfortunately. I just had to fight back.
And how fun is sometimes fighting back through the field? Obviously, I guess you prefer, just staying at the front, but, battling on a track as, I guess you can say high flowing, really flowing track like this. Is it fun?
I like battling because I find that if you're just driving around on your own, you don't improve. Whereas if you're battling, you can improve your racecraft. And I love it. But sometimes some drivers are harder than others to get by. But yeah, I do enjoy battling.
Well, absolutely. And I'm pretty sure each driver does. Talking about battles, how do you think those battles are going to happen next week at Knockhill, especially with the reverse layout?
I've not driven it yet. I've driven Knockhill very little, to be fair. I think the last time I was there was in the TCRs last season. I haven't driven it much at all. So I think it's going to be very interesting, especially the reverse grid, the reverse way round. because I know that last corner that will now be the first corner is very tight.
It's definitely going to be a big adventure for everybody. Well, Craig, I'm going to wish you the best of luck to practice. Hopefully we can talk to you maybe on the winner's roll next week. But until then, have a good one.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So, Andrew, that was Craig Schill. A mix of results, as he mentioned, but hopefully next week he'll bounce back even stronger.
Several races on the slate coming up here at Pit Stop TV. Here is a look at what's up next. Of course, this evening at Charlotte Motor Speedway, we have got the North American Racing League Porsche Cup Series. That is race number 6 of 8. It's Charlotte, then Road Atlanta, and Red Bull Ring to finish out that season. And it's the Charlotte Roval that is really going to mix things up. You have got to be there. You have got to watch this one. If there's any one race this season that you need to watch, I'm serious. It's Charlotte later tonight. You've got to be there. That starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We've got the amateur race up, then the Pro-Am race a little later on. Hopefully Tony Kanaan and a few others are around for that one. I would like to see, actually, Tony Kanaan at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You know, maybe an IndyCar race. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool one day. But anyways, Wednesday evening, tomorrow evening, we've got the Outlaws Sim Series, 7:30 p.m. Eastern from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with the NASCAR Next Gen machinery. Those Gen 7 cars are getting pretty fun, and it's going to be, I think, a good day of racing with open setups and certainly a long race. In fact, if I head over to their schedule real quick on my other monitor and go ahead and pull up the race length, that is going to be a 120 lap race. It is going to be a long one for those guys. Let's see, the usual NASCAR Cup race that is 400 miles there that they used to run was 160 laps. Of course, the Indianapolis 500 is 200 laps, so 120 laps should be, at a 2.5 mile super speedway, should be 300 miles. Let me double check that. 120 times 2.5, yes, 300 miles tomorrow evening for the Outlaws Sim Series. Then Thursday, we bring the BSR boys right back here. The British Sim Racers put on such a great, fantastic event. 3 p.m. Eastern, that's 8 p.m. UK. Now that we're back in British summertime, you want to be here. Donington Park, Thursday evening. Then we've got, of course, the North American Racing League GT3 Series. It'll be headed out to Long Beach this Thursday. It is also a must-watch, I think, and should be a lot of fun. In case you're wondering, we do not have coverage of the MPI Cup Series this week. That is over on Podium Esports. That is Sunday evening, 9 p.m. Eastern. We get them back in a few weeks' time at Bristol Dirt. But JP, any final thoughts here from Donington Park?
I mean, what an incredible race we had. It was absolutely amazing. Knock Hill can come soon enough. And obviously, Andrew, this was kind of a warm-up as well for the TCRs we're gonna have, so I cannot wait. It's gonna be a really fun one, and these boys just put on an amazing show as they usually do.
A big thank you to all of you watching this evening. Follow us along at social media. It is worth it. A big thank you as well to everybody here at Pit Stop TV. Of course, the list goes on and on. On the coverage this evening, it was myself, Andrew Cardinale IV with JP Costa alongside. We should have Zach Murtis along for the ride this evening on social media. That should be fun for the North American Racing League Porsche Cup race. And really just a thank you to everybody here with the crew. You guys know who you are, and we certainly do appreciate the effort week in, week out. That will do it for us this evening from Donington Park. It's been a pleasure, as always, with the British Sim Racers. A big thank you to them and everybody who makes things happen with them. Roger Morton for finding us. Of course, Michael Zeal, Ben Sharp for everything that they do, and everybody else here with the series. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week for BSR action from Knock Hill Reverse.